Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Glow. It is Wednesday at 4 o'clock, and we are here to glow. So, what is glowing on? So, I have a special guest with me today because today is the last day of the month. I think this is our full third month of doing the show. And so, today, my special guest is actually the producer of the show, Mr. Brian Cochran. So, welcome to the producer.
Oh, sorry.
Hello, how are you?
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, sir?
I am blessed and highly favored. Excited about what we're doing and excited about your show and what you're doing. Folks are being truly growing in their business and glowing in their business all at the same time.
Well, that's good. That's what we hope to happen.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the goal of the show. So today I asked to sit down and talk with you because I know we're going into a new month. I have projects. I know you have several projects going on. I just wanted to ask you first, give a little bit of your background. Let us know about
Uh,
Brian.
Brian is born in Birmingham, Alabama, raised in Pomona, California. Uh, uh, Husband of three kids and two grandkids, and I've been an entrepreneur, solo entrepreneur, like probably since '75. I've only had two jobs in my entire life, and I'm excited to just keep doing what I love to do, which is help people start their own business and be an entrepreneur myself.
Okay, good. So how long have you been, how many different businesses have you done over the years since you're
Oh
a
God,
serial?
I'm a serial entrepreneur. So I've had one business that's been a constant, or actually one and a half, which is I have a production company that we put on events and we put on plays and concerts and festivals, and then I have a DJ company that we provide sound, lighting, and video for events. So I've been doing that since '75. So that's been the longest standing. And outside of that, I've had where I've owned. I was part owner of a key shop where we were, doing keys for folks, and I've had restaurants, and I've owned nightclubs and that kind of stuff. So I mean, I've had a bunch. Some worked and some didn't. So
Right.
that's the
So
fun part of being an entrepreneur.
that is the
Right.
net. People want to give up so fast, but I always say just keep going. The thing that you really do is going to keep coming back. Like you say, the sound, the DJ, the music, the producing, that keeps coming back. So that's like your gift in your
That's
area.
my bread and butter. That's been my constant.
Yeah.
That's what's giving me that's opened doors for other stuff, because as a DJ and a promoter, they're always asking me either why is your business so successful, why are your events so big or so successful. That opens the door for the marketing consulting side, and then the sound, so I get in the door through that, and then just listen. And then when they say the right thing and I have the opportunity to introduce myself and the other opportunities that we have to be able to help them, then they see that I can do this, then they'll allow me to get opportunity to at least put in a quote.
Right, right. And that's all it is, about getting your foot in the door and at least showing what you can do from the beginning. That way, it's always going to be other opportunities once you got that relationship going, huh?
Yes, absolutely. Just like you, same thing.
Yeah.
How many businesses have you had?
Wow, I've had lots. I've had people don't know I was a fashion designer. I had a whole clothing line. Um,
Awesome.
I was a stylist for a long time. I loved styling people. I sewed. I had a pillow line for a while, restaurant, catering, So now Spice Company.
There you
Makes
go. And so just so you know, we kind of decided we're going to tag team.
Mhm.
So I'm going to start her promoting her own, her own new company. I'll help her with her. That she'll help me with me. So
Right.
with your spice company, you talked about it for the last couple of weeks, and so you have. What kind of spices do you have, and what was your inspiration in your spices?
Okay, so my spices. The first inspiration is that I used to cook for millions of people. Like literally, it feels like millions. But a lot of people, and I would go to their homes, and I would go to cook, and I would go on these jobs, and I kept trying to bring all these spices because I love everything to be real flavorful and different, not the same. So what I would do is I would make my own spices, so that way I would have less to carry for one, and then I would be able to get all the flavors and the taste that I wanted. So for years I've been making spices for other people, making it for when I serve food, and people are like, "Oh, that tastes so good, different." But it's spices that I kind of combine and blend myself. So this year I decided, I said, well, if I can't come to your kitchen and make it for you, maybe I can give you the spice. And if you sprinkle the spice on there, it's magical. It'll taste good, like I did it for you.
Amen. So, is there do you have a cookbook, or is a cookbook coming that's kind of inclusive of your spices?
You know what? I think this will be probably a good time to do a cookbook based on the spices because I had people making all kind of different things already. When we first launched, well, when I first launched, me by myself,
Right.
launched, I sold out like on the first day, and I was like, "Oh wow, okay." Yes, I was so excited because so many people know me from cooking. So I guess I already had the trust. And that's another thing in business. You want to build a trust and a good reputation. So me doing spices is kind of like almost like water and, water
Right.
and fish, like
Right.
everything goes together. So I put the spices together. I have one that's savory, which kind of goes with anything, blended onions and garlic and parsley. And then I have one that's spicy. And then I have one that's an exotic blend, which has like 15 or 16 different spices and curry and turmeric, so it gives just a lot of different flavor for the food. And I'm excited that it's very simple. I want to keep it very simple. I will do some holiday seasonings coming up for Thanksgiving, but basically everything I'm gonna keep it simple.
Amen. So how did that parallel into the Glow?
Well, the Glow, it gives this platform actually allows me to talk about it, to share it. I think one of the shows I had the spices with me. I got some around here somewhere. I keep mailing them out, and I'm like, oh, I need to keep some on hand. We use them a lot in the house, though. Everybody's like, oh, let me get number one. Let me get number two. Oh, let me try this with number three. So everybody's like experiment with it, and it's so fun. But yeah, that's how I came onto the Glow. It's like now I get to show and glow.
As well as help other people.
Right. As well as help other people.
That's awesome.
I'm helping women save their relationships with these seasonings. Just put some on it.
There you go. There you go. And pray while you do it.
Right. Pray while you do it. Put a little seasoning on it, And then he'll be like, wow, you really know how to cook. That's all it is, the seasoning.
So with your spices, do you have to patent it or copyright it or go to FDA or because I'm pretty sure there's other viewers that would be interested in not necessarily doing spices but doing some type of food. So what were some of the steps that it took for you to get there?
Yeah, you actually have to list the ingredients, and if there are any ingredients that I create besides ones that are already packaged up. Right now, we're going through the labeling, the copyright, all that procedure right now. Everything I sent out so far is kind of like my little test market, like getting everybody a chance to test it, give me some feedback, so it's been good. So right now we're just waiting for all the official things, and I have my logo already, so it's just waiting for the bottling up.
Praise God. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to actually get into spices?
Well, besides that, I love to season food like differently. Like I like to use a lot of different flavors that match and melt well together. So the love of doing that for one, and then secondly is because I always been a service for this whole time. I've always been a concierge, a chef, a event planner. So I never actually had a real good product since I made clothes, and I'm not doing that right now. So I'm like, I need a product that I can actually sell, instead of just always having a service, especially when the pandemic comes and you can't do an event, you can't go to people's house, you can't do these things. So I was like, oh, if I could just get a product. And so one night I was praying, I went to sleep, I woke up and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do spices. There it goes.
That's wonderful. So you went out and found your spice. You found the raw spices, or there's some that you have to bake, or is it all kind of pre-done? You just kind of make your little melting pot of it.
Most of the spices are already done. I do grind them and blend
There
them
we go.
together.
That's right.
Yeah, I do grind them down to blend them together, the peppercorns and different stuff like that, just to give it a fresh blend flavor. But it usually is garlic powder, garlic onions, roasted onions. So it's things that you can get separately in bulk, and then I blend them together to make them taste really good. Yeah.
And so, how did you come up with the name?
Well, what's the name of the company or the
Yes,
spices?
the name of the
Oh,
spice. The name of the spice. So, what's the name of the spice company? Is it different than Vonshai, or is it
no.
is it what's the name?
The
What's the name of
spice
the spice?
company is V Licious. Just like delicious, but it's Velicious. So that's the name of the spice company. And then it's savory, spicy, and exotic. So those are the three flavors that it's available in.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. And so, are you gonna? Is it your goal to only do online, or is it your goal to go ahead and get into distribution where you can get into the supermarkets, or are you gonna go for restaurants? What is your short term and long term goal?
Well, my short term goal right now is I'm just enjoying the process of getting everything out there and, having people test it and all that. But long term, um, I want it to be $1 billion spice company. So it should be in the stores, Whole Foods. It'll be used at restaurants. And luckily, I have a lot of connections to people I can actually reach out to and say, hey, put this in your restaurant or put this in your store. So that's my goal is to be a big spice brand. You know, it's a
That's awesome.
multi-million-dollar business. I looked it
Yes,
up.
it
I'm
is.
like, wow.
Yes, it is. Matter of fact, I think it's probably larger than that. It's probably closer to a billion because of
Yeah, I
just
think it's billion. I think it
yeah,
is billion.
yeah.
Hmm.
Because you figure every person that cooks use some either it's salt or pepper, and then it's up to the restaurants where they use the garlic, all the other stuff that you talked about earlier in your spices. So I think it's a huge market. So you tapping into it, I think now is a good time because of what's going on with us being at home. So people are cooking at home more,
Right.
and so it gives you a great opportunity to expand in the home market. And then by you, I'm going to try to talk you back into doing your cooking show, so that way you can use your spices to show
Oh, the
folks how to
cookies.
use your spices in your cooking show.
Right, right. Yeah, one of these days I'll revisit that. The cooking show again.
Yep, yeah. See, I've been clowning you for a while because, what we're trying to do with our TV network, we want that kind of programming as well, where people can see awesome chefs going forward, and then simplifying it to make it easier for a person at home to be able to
Hmm.
do it as well. So when I saw your show a long time ago, I've been bugging you ever since. Saying, look, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. And then
Right,
you went to the right and said, no, we're doing the glow.
right. Right, we're doing the glow first. We start with the
Right,
glow. Right.
right,
And then
right, right.
then
Absolutely.
down the future we'll do cooking show. We'll get a
There
nice
you go.
I'll get a nice stage kitchen,
There you
and then
go.
I'll
There you go.
go ahead and do the cooking show.
There you go. Yeah, well, we'll
Yeah.
hold you. We'll hold you to it.
Okay. Well, I will glow ahead and do that.
That's right. That's right. That's right. We want you to blow up in the food arena.
Right. I will glow up. Right. So back to you now.
Uh-oh.
So since you have this forum, what are your plans for this network? Like what's next? What's coming up? What are we doing?
Well, from the very beginning, I used to own a small chain of music stores, and I was a part of this little network. And then within that network, we saw that the music industry was going to die. And there's a new company called Napster came out, and then another company around just before, actually a couple years before that, was called AOL. And so I saw that one, there wasn't enough of us represented of owning our own content, and two, having a platform to share our content. So for the past 20 years, I've been working full time on what we're doing now, which is BAC TV. And so our goal now is that we're right now we're mainly streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Periscope, and a couple others. But our ultimate goal by the first of the year, because we have some other channels that what we've kind of done is our business model is that we have a couple channels of our own, and then we have other folks that we give them an opportunity to have their own channel. And so with their own channel, they're able to program their stations 24/7. We have all the software for them to create their playlists and go live. For them to generate, we have a whole monetization program set up for them to be able to make money with their own stations and so forth. And so that's our model. So that way you have your own content, you do your own thing any kind of way you want to. You're responsible for it. We're your support system, so we support it to make sure you're up and running. If you have any questions or some challenges, and we can help you with that. But our ultimate goal is to, by the first of the year, our app will be done. And then we're also going to Roku, Fire Stick, Samsung TV, Apple TV. We'll have a bunch of different outlets that we'll be sending out our platform to. And we have so I don't know if you want to read that or deal with
Oh,
that.
okay. It says, during the pandemic, do you feel as an entrepreneur having multiple streams of income are necessary? And that's from our watcher. His name is Cornelius Green. He watches all the
Every
time.
week.
Hey. Hey, Cornelius. Yes, absolutely. It is necessary to have multiple streams. It's not necessary to stretch yourself too thin and do a lot of stuff that you don't know how to do and waste time or money. But if you can have a few passive income streams and a few that you actually work on, it's always good to have more than one. You have to as an entrepreneur. Like, it's absolutely necessary.
I agree, and I think if it's just getting started, if they're somewhat in a parallel position, so you don't want to do clothing and then turn around and try to do food at the same time.
Right.
They're different niches, and so they take different budgets, different marketing, and the marketing strategies to make those happen. So I think if you're doing clothing and then you start, you're doing an affiliate with T-shirts and other stuff from other companies they're bringing in, I think that would be great. But to try to do something entirely opposite, unless you have a big team, unless you have a big resources. Now, what's big today, and I don't want to just step on your toes, but what's big today is something called affiliate marketing. And so if you say your main business is just selling shoes or selling clothes, and then as an affiliate, you affiliate yourself with other products and services that complement what you're doing, then yes. So that way when you write articles and you do your blogs and the synergy that you have from the main thing, then it'll work. So it's like with you, the reason yours work is because they complement each other. You're a professional chef. And because you're a professional chef, you're able to share your seasonings. And then because they also know that you do event planning, they also hire you to do event planning. So they're all in the same niche, even though they can be opposite in full time. But the way you've orchestrated them is awesome.
Right. Thanks for that shout out, because it is very important to make sure that they all flow. Like, it's like I could do any one of those things separately or individually, and I can also do them all at once together. So it has to be something that flows. You can't just be doing something way over here, way over there, because it divides your time and it pulls you in two different directions. If I'm on my way to cook for somebody, just like a weekend ago, I cooked for somebody. I brought the spices. I cooked. While I cooked, everybody who ate them was online ordering. I'm like, which one did you use? Maybe we should just order all of them. So, it all works together if you keep it like that. So, yeah, that's the best thing to do. Keep everything together.
Or, for instance, if you are a consultant of some kind, then a natural parallel would be you having some books, writing your own book. So that way, when you speak somewhere, like I'm an author as well. So as a business marketing consultant, when someone hires me to come in to speak, I always have my own little resource table with my books and stuff. And I'm able to generate extra income. If they don't buy today, then I give them my business cards. They go to my website and purchase on my website. So yes, so having multiple streams of income, as long as it's in the same vein, I think it works. I think my challenge is, as a serial entrepreneur, that I'm being gifted to do a whole lot. Mm-hmm. And then my challenge is being that if I see something good, I'll jump on it. Mm-hmm. Then guess what happens? I leave the 99 to go after the one. And this one suffers because it needs my full attention as well.
Right, exactly. And I just say, I treat them all like kids of mine. Like, you got to take care of them individually. Like, I just started the spice company. Everybody knows I'm a business consultant, event planner. Everybody already knows that. So right now, my nurturing baby is the spices. Now I have to stay focused and concentrate on that. Everybody knows I'm a business consultant. I'm part of my own project right now, because in my business, I'm turn passion to profit. And that's what I've done for myself. So obviously I could do it for you. So if you need my help, just come and call on Vonshai.com.
There you go.
There we go. There we go.
So what are some of the challenges with your consulting side, especially today with the pandemic? What are some of the challenges that you face is that one of the reasons why you pivoted right now to get into spices, because the consulting side is not as lucrative, or is just a natural thing that you're able to do multiple things at one time?
Well, to me, doing multiple things is like my thing. Like I'm kind of one of those people that has to be doing something. So the consulting side actually works really good because I have an investor who meets up with people. We package up business deals. So that side works really good. It doesn't take as much of my hands-on work, and it's more thinking and introducing and more being emotionally intelligent enough to kind of bring relationships with people together. But the spices to me is like my relaxation. Like if I'm not cooking, that's my relaxed thing. When I'm in there blending and making it and putting the bottles together, that relaxes me. But sometimes it's just like they say, when you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
There you go. Amen. Because with you, because cooking is your passion, then it makes it easier for you to be able to do it. If you don't make a penny right now, you know that in due season, if you faint not, you'll reap a harvest.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Okay. Let's see. Cornelia says, why do some entrepreneurs feel like expanding quickly just to say that they have multiple businesses?
They're idiots.
Right. They are. Like, don't do that. Please don't do that.
I'm old now, so before
Right.
I would be a little bit more, I'd say with a little bit more tact, but I think
It's just
it,
what it is.
yeah, I mean,
Right.
because if you, that's the wrong motive
It
anyway.
is. It is.
Just because you're trying to be you're trying. They feel like they have to.
Right.
And
But it's
then
like they shouldn't, because they always suffer in some area. Like you were just saying, when you put all your attention over there, you neglect something. Like,
right,
and you have to be able to, like the way I have done my event planning and all these other things, they are full grown adults. People call me for that. If I never advertise again, people already know me for that. So
you're
for me,
established.
yeah, I've already established that. So it's not like in the midst of that, I started making spices, because then they would be like, well, what are you doing? You making spices? You doing business? What are you doing? So once you perfect something and get it to a point where it can kind of survive on its own, where it has a model and it has a way that it works, then it's okay to move on to something else. But to have like selling Mary Kay and Cookie Lee and, you know, WFG and Prime America all at the same time, you cannot. You cannot.
Right.
Don't even try.
They all. I share a story with like we all do, and my story is that, and most of us know that McDonald's started here in Southern California, and they could have done chitlins, they could have done ribs, they could have done lobster, but they chose hamburgers, shakes, and fries and Coke. And
Right.
so that was their niche, and they rode that to prosperity. Then once they got to the point where they mastered it, then they started to branch out. Then they tried McFish, and the fish worked. They tried McChicken, that worked. They tried McRibs, it kind of sort of worked. Then they'll take it away for a while, and then the demand will say, "Hey, we want it back," and so they'll bring it back. But they first rode hamburgers, shakes, fries, and soda to prosperity. And so I
Right.
think for us to try to jump out too fast, yeah, there's going to always be opportunities, but if we jump too fast, then there's a hole's going to be in the net and everything's going to fall, because you can't do it all at one time, especially when you don't know how to manage your time, your resources anyway. You're just getting started. Slow down.
Right. Slow down. Because like you mentioned about McDonald's, In-N-Out still only sells shakes, hamburgers, fries, and that's it. Like, so they don't even have a fish sandwich
That's right.
anywhere. No
That's right.
chicken. No
That's
chickens.
right.
No vegetarian. Like you can
Well,
get a cheese sandwich at best, but it's like they have stuck to their business model, and that's what works for them. Sometimes you have to stick with that main thing, in order for it to actually be prosperous, because you got to give it enough time. Some people give up too early. I've seen people
right.
right, like the 3 feet from gold is so true. I've seen people right there, and then it's like they give up, and then now I'm gonna go do something else because I'm gonna make some more money. Well, it shouldn't
Right.
have been about the money at first. It should have been
Right.
about you building something strong and then get the money.
Right. Cornelius put up Yes, he did.
Master P ran into the same problem some years ago. Yeah. Even you can even be already successful and run into it. So it's
Yeah.
not like it's only for the people who broke and trying to get it together. Sometimes I've seen a lot of celebrities come out with things and you like, no. No, that probably won't work. And it doesn't usually flourish.
Right. So
Yeah.
Ray Kroc knew what worked, and McDonald's is still flourishing. Absolutely.
Right.
And
And
that's
if
why
you
we use that. That's why we use that illustration, because they took the concept. As a matter of fact, the McDonald brothers can only go so far, and then Ray Kroc saw the future. He saw that he can take that concept and idea and franchise it. They tried franchising, and it didn't work because that wasn't their wheelhouse. But Ray Kroc, because he saw the future, he didn't invent it. He just took it and perfected it. And so now it's a household word because it'll be there forever. They don't have to advertise ever again. But McDonald's, because they want you to think, if the cool thing about the way Fortune 500 companies do is that they never really have to advertise again, but they want you, when you think about eating any kind of food, your first thought is going to be McDonald's. You got to make a conscious decision to go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Right. And
So,
that's a really good business model to have people already programmed. The kids can barely talk. They want McDonald's,
right. They
So
want
it's
that
like,
toy. They want that Happy Meal.
exactly. That's probably one of the top selling things for
Oh
McDonald's.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because for us as adults, we know that it's not. We rather go to In-N-Out. We rather go
Right.
to some gourmet burger.
Right.
But kids, because they intentionally went after that market. If you have the kids, so go the family.
Right. Yeah.
And so in your
How
business
are they going
model,
to get there?
right? So in your business model, that might be a great idea. That look at what is what will grab the family or grab the niche and make it wider. So that way there are multiple streams. Just like you, I'm going to use you as a perfect example. As a consultant, and I'm just, we're both the same way. So as a consultant, there's parallels that automatically come about because as a consultant, they're coming to you for your expertise. And so you can be a consultant that just specializes in startup. And then the next step would be, okay, I need funding. So you get into funding because there's a natural progression that instead of turning them away to somebody else, well, then I can take the time to learn about the funding side and then partner with somebody to do the funding. And then the same thing with marketing. Okay, I didn't specialize in marketing, but because when they're coming to me, you want to continue to be able to continue to service them, then you add another product line to it, which is a parallel, which gives you multiple streams of income.
Right, exactly. And that's exactly the best way to do it because we all have, if you've been out networking any amount of time, you have a list of unlimited resources from people that do all kind of things. And a lot of people don't know it's best sometimes to get a strategic partner and work with that person. Like you might not know everything that you need to know about your business because you can't. But if you have somebody who knows one part of it that you don't know, that actually helps you in the future. And you can partner up with somebody. Today, I actually was going to mail some spices, met a man who was mailing out some spices. Yeah.
That's incredible.
I was like, hey, what are you doing?
Y'all can network together and y'all carry each other's spices. There's a parallel, Yeah.
Parallel.
Yeah.
Yes. And he says he's been making a lot of money. He's been he has rubs. So he has 3 different rubs and a Cajun boil or whatever. And he was a white guy actually. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, he has a Cajun boil and he has like Southern rubs and different things. And so I was surprised because he was excited. He was just saying how much money he'd been making doing spices. So I was like, I'm on the right track. So he was like, maybe we can partner up. He was actually mailing something to, the guy that's the prophet, Marcus Lemonis.
Right, Marcus Lemonis.
Yeah,
right.
he was mailing a package to him.
Oh, awesome. That's one of my favorites. That's one of my favorite shows.
Me too. I love that show.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite shows. Them and Shark Tank.
Shark Tank. I love watching the shows that help entrepreneurs with troubleshooting and rebuilding. And it always comes back to keep it simple,
Right.
It always comes back to don't have 1,500 things on the menu. 10, 5, 3. Right. Like you don't need so much. Like don't go out and try to sell everything from shoes all the way down for the kids, the adults, and everybody. Focus on one niche. Focus on one specific person or thing, and then expand out from there because there's a lot in each niche. There's a lot of
Right.
people.
Yes, it is, and everybody can. And the cool part about business is that if you take your time and work your plan, then you'll have a better chance of success versus just jumping out there and trying to do everything. You know, going back to what Cornelia said asked earlier. I'm such a proponent. You know, I believe in multiple streams of income, but I had to. And one of the things I had to do, even what we're doing now, one of the best things that happened for me was the pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if the pandemic hadn't happened, I've been streaming now for years, and I've had internet radio stations and that kind of stuff. But one of the things that happened, that because my backbone and my bread and butter was doing sound and putting on events, that I go, okay, now that I can't do that, what am I going to do? And so I said, well, I've been talking about this. I've been working on it. I found a company in India because I've been trying it here in the United States to do what we're doing now. And it always come back just kind of sideways because everybody has an agenda. So got that. But the challenge with the best thing with India was they don't have that kind of agenda. They just want to offer a great customer service. They want to get paid for the services. And then the cool part about it is that because we're working together, I can make suggestions, and they're gladly to take my suggestions and go, it may take us 4 months, 5 months, 6 months to get to it. But it gave me the flexibility now and the ability to be able to go ahead and launch our TV network. And it's succeeding and it's growing. I'm happy because, it's a lot of work. Mm-hmm. and I love to work, just like you were saying earlier. And my days are nights and my nights are days because they're 12, 13 hours ahead of me. So I'm up at 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning because it's 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon for them. Oh, so okay. I had to kind of shift myself where my wife was like, when are you going to get some rest when I die?
You'll have plenty of time to lay and rest and no one will bother you.
Yeah. Let me grind this out, and I can say this about, spouses that make sure, you get in alignment with your spouse and that they understand what you're doing, because you want that person to be in agreement with you. And my wife allowed me we've been married almost 16 years now, and she's allowed me to, I'm a minister, so she allowed me to be a minister and do that full time, and then work simultaneously working on what we're doing now. So now she gets to see the fruit of what she allowed me to do for 15 years of our marriage. I did 5 years before we got together. She now sees the success. She sees the phone calls, and she gets to see the checks. And she's like, wow, now I get it. She didn't fully understand it, but because she believed in me, she allowed me the opportunity to do it. So I want to make sure that when you're starting a business, make sure you share with them. They may not understand 100% of what you're doing, but if you do it right, then they're your backbone to be your support system to make sure. They may not be active working in your business. Like, she's not active working in the business. That's not her thing. But she supports. So if I need her to do something, she'll gladly go support me in that means, and she makes sure the lights stay on and that kind of stuff and so forth. So that way now the visions come to pass.
Right. That is very important.
Thank you, baby.
That is very important. It is very important that whoever you are with has the same kind of vision for you as you do, because sometimes they might say, "Oh, I thought I wanted you to be a doctor."
Right.
And then they'll be disappointed with you. And then, then it causes a lot of friction and different things like that. But if you're an entrepreneur, you meet somebody, you got to tell them from the beginning, like, look, I'm an entrepreneur. There's a lot of business I'm going to be getting into. I won't spend all the money, but you got to support me and be there because one of these might hit,
Right. Absolutely. I know for us, it's, because you and I are both solo, we've been solo entrepreneurs for most of our lives. I take, it's like what Thomas Jefferson said. Edison said that is, he said, most folks say it's how many times you failed. He just says it's how many times it didn't succeed. So I'm just looking for one way that it does succeed. So I had to take on that mantra and that philosophy, because everything we throw up may or may not work. It might not be the right season. It might need different resources to make it happen, or whatever the case may be. So a lot of times I'll put it on just like this. I put this TV network. I started this back in 2002, and now it's 2020.
Wow, so 18.
I've been working. Right. And so I've been working on it. I never gave up on the vision. I never gave up on the concept. I've always ever learning about how to do this and how to do that. What type of cameras, lighting, what type of computers do I need? A server. What kind of server? All the things in order to run the network, and what kind of software in order to make it work, and then to go to the next level of what we're getting ready to do. It took me 20 years to get here.
Right.
But now we're here.
Right.
And so I think going back to what you said earlier, I didn't give up.
Right. You didn't give up. And like you said, your wife, she was along for the vision. She wasn't looking at you like, what are you doing? You still doing that TV thing, Right. It's more like, okay.
And she may not have, going back to what I said earlier, she may not have understood it.
Right.
And she may have doubted for a moment because, again, we're in this generation of immediate gratification.
Microwave.
Immediate results. And so, I'm a minister, I'm a Christian, and as a Christian, I have a different philosophy now because I know that in due season, I'll reap if I faint not. So if I sow into the process, sow into the learning, sow into my team, sow into all the things in order to put this together, also sharing my message with certain people, and certain people try to take the message and run with it, try to take I've had people that I tried to partner with. And those partners, they took advantage of me because they took my kindness for weakness. If I wouldn't say it, I probably would have killed them, because
but see, they alive by the grace of God, right?
That's right. So, but the bottom line is, don't get weary in well doing. Don't give up, don't give in. If you've been given this vision, if it's by God or like Jerry Maguire, a bad piece of pizza, that he saw a vision for, actually it was for his company. He thought it was for their company. He wanted to change their company. No, that's not our vision. So you may be working for somebody else and you see a vision for something. Maybe that vision is for you.
Right.
So take the time, write your own business plan. One of us can help you with that.
Right.
So that way you can, and all you're getting an understanding that in due season, if that's your vision to do it, then you'll have the solid foundation because you took the time to learn about the business and the operation and how the inner workings and how it needs to work. You've partnered with the right people, you mentored with the right people to mentor you. So that way in due season, when you're ready, you don't have to stumble like me. I don't have to stumble because I've lost money doing this thing. I've done all the failure stuff in the past.
Right.
So our success is pretty good on me. Just if I die, it'll fail.
Right.
That's going to change because I'm looking for my replacement now.
Right. So your legacy has to continue. And that's what we would like to set it up so well that if I'm not here, they always say a good leader can produce other leaders. So if I'm not here, I want it to still be able to be ran through one of my children, somebody who has like a vested interest, who's actually watched me all this time, working hard, doing everything that I do. And if you keep that vision before your family, like I said, like they know what's going on and they know, then they'll carry it on for you, especially if it's a worthy cause. Like so you just got the channel up after starting 2002.
I started working on it in 2002 with internet radio because TV was too expensive.
Okay.
And so I had a radio station, a very, 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 very basic radio station back in the day. And then as technology went, I partnered with some guys. I won't name the name of the station. They brought in the money. I had the expertise. And as soon as they thought they learned enough, then they snatched it from me. And then guess what? It died anyway. So right. And then, and then it happened another time where we were building this entertainment company in Rancho, and we had just secured the building. And how the guys we even partnered together, I did some funding for them, and so I helped them get some funding. So they needed $100,000, so I got them $100,000 for their business. And then in our conversations, they had a vision. So I said, hey, that's my vision too. Let's, I had a friend of mine that was closing his business. He had an entertainment company in there. And so turnkey, it was already set up. So we walked in using that money from the loan to get into the building. I let him be which was my mistake. I let him be the CEO versus me being the CEO. Because again, I'm not egotistical. I just want to do the work. Right. And so in the process of that, they brought somebody else in. And because they said, well, we can get you on this TV network. I go, no, they can't. Because I already knew. So based upon the model of this other business, that there was no way that the type of show they're trying to bring forth wasn't going to happen. So guess what happened? they kicked me out, and then 3 months later, the whole thing went down. So I've gone through those trials and tribulations, and I'm sharing this with you so that way you understand that we're not going to give up. We're not going to give in. And we're doing, and get weary in what we're doing, because this is what I know that people want to be able to stop looking at Channel 7.
Right.
They want more. And so for us, the challenge with, I'm not going to name some other social networks that are offering internet access or streaming and broadcasting, you still have to you're subject to them.
Right.
And so like now, you can't say, there's certain things you can't say anything against our president, for instance, which he shouldn't anyway, but that's another conversation. And you can't say anything like Obama, you can't say anything against certain things and certain people, they'll censor you. Well, for us, we won't censor you. The only thing that I know we won't allow happen is nudity. So you can't be X-rated. So outside of that, it's your station. You do you. We're not Big Brother that we're gonna be have our thumbs on top of you. We'll make suggestions if you need help and so forth. But the bottom line is we want to give people an opportunity so they can be creative and not have to worry about they own their own content. We don't want your content, right? Because we're gonna create our own unless we partner. Now, if we partner, it's a different story, and then we work that out. But we want to give people an opportunity to have their own station, their own channel, their own radio station, their own show if they choose to.
Right. Well, see, that's the beauty of having a business that you've thought a lot about and you've been working on for a long time. Yes. Because if you just started it, you'd be like, oh, I don't know what to do and how could benefit everybody. But now that it's something that you have taken so much time over the years to kind of perfect into a way that you want to do it. Now you can offer more opportunities coming out of the gate from the beginning. Right. Instead of, starting from the drawing board, like this is my first time ever doing anything. And then everybody has to come along the way. And then everybody has to, if you're going to fail, we all failing together, one of those type of things.
Right. Absolutely. And for me, I one of the things that happened along the way, my I think I mentioned earlier, I'm an author. And one of my number one selling books is called Startup Guide to Internet Broadcasting. And so that book is 4 years old, and I sell a ton of. I sell more ebooks than actual natural books. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to update it soon now because of what we're doing now. I'm going to update it, but and I'm saying that not to be braggadocious about who I am, but I live the internet, and I live streaming. I live internet radio. I used to be on back in the day. I was on KJLH. I did the mix show for KJLH in the 80s. I was on Cute 102 before that. So media, broadcasting, from being a DJ, it's the natural progression to do something else. So I was able to go forward because I took the time to learn about what we're doing. Hey, Tammy. Thank you.
You were on the Glow with Vonshai and Brian Cochran, producer, BACTV Network.
Matter of fact, Tammy has a channel.
Oh, okay.
And so she's doing she's doing vegan, and then she also does a business show as well that she's going to be doing on her channel, and then she's going to be offering some other stuff because she had already been doing stuff on Facebook, and she had been doing, and the challenge with just doing Facebook is that as you do more shows, it disappears because it's on a feed. Right. It's not really set up to archive the way it can be for a TV network. And so she saw that she can go farther, faster, and reach more people because part of our software, we have something called Restream. There's a company called Restream, and again, I got the software and stuff from India, so I can't change the name yet. So I'll work on changing the name later, but I couldn't change it yet because I haven't bought the company yet. So I'm working on, anyway, that's another conversation.
Right. So that's part of the everything. That's part of the goal. Oh yeah, absolutely. We're going to buy the company. So that's the goal, and one of the things that we offer with our network is we have the opportunity that you can stream to 30, 40, 50 platforms all at one time. With this software called Restream, and so that was for her. It was like like for us, we have 4 different Facebook pages and groups. We have 3-4 different YouTube, and then we have Pinterest and LinkedIn and all these others.
as well as Twitch and Mixer and all these other platforms that got millions of people on them, that through our software, you're able to go simultaneously at one time. And so she saw that, and then the future for us being on Roku and Amazon Prime, their Fire Stick, and all the others that we're going to, it made it worthwhile for you to get it on the channel, because being a part of our network, you automatically become a part of what we're doing as far as the growth. And when we start distributing more and really start marketing the way we're going to, then it'll be a benefit for her to ride along with us, as well as getting at the introductory rate that we're offering right now anyway.
Oh, well, that's really good. So how many shows do you have right now?
Personally, we have that are live shows. We have 6 live shows that are currently on two networks. So we have one network, one channel, which is the Urban Channel. And so that plays a mixture of pre-programmed stuff and stuff that we've curated. So it's got movies and other talk shows and stuff. But live programming, we have 5 shows. And then we have the Church Channel, which we have several shows in that as well. And so the church channel is playing 24/7, a pre-programmed, curated stuff that we put together, and then the same thing with the church channel. So that way we can interject and go live anytime we want to. But at the same time, through all the years we've been curating content, I got enough content to fill a bunch more stations, which we'll do eventually. But for our own 2, we got 6 shows that are running right now.
Oh, okay. So what's your goal to have? How many would be your goal?
Well, each channel is 24/7. So we have to build. So we need.
How many channels?
Right now. I have 2 channels. The BAC TV that we operate and manage. We have 2, but we have another 5. Like Tammy's one of the other 5 TV channels that we're helping her curate and put together her content for her channel.
Okay.
And then so part of the concept is that you'll have an idea for your own stuff, and then you still got 23 hours or 22 hours a day to fill it. So we have a concept that we put together that we can help them put together the content to put on their channel. So that way they got, just like Channel 7. Channel 7 is only live, their early morning talk show, then their news shows are live. And then you'll have their sports shows, your football or baseball, that kind of stuff. But outside of that, everything else is pre-recorded. Mm-hmm. So for us, it's the same thing. We have a ton of pre-recorded shows that we've done and produced ourselves, as well as others that are part of our team that we've gotten the permission to use. We're using their content as well to fill up the 24 hours of programming. And then we're starting to interject our own shows. And right now we don't have a studio because of the pandemic. We lost our studio, but that's another conversation for another time. But our goal is, once we get our studio, then we can produce everything.
Right. And I'm looking forward to that too.
I'm sorry.
I said I'm looking forward to that too, having like a live guest, like hello.
Yeah.
Right. Being able to go on location a few places, to check out, see what's going on. That'll be nice as well.
Right. And the cool part, and that's what Tammy's doing with her right now with her channel. She's doing on the go. So our software will allow her to use her smartphone to go live anytime she wants to.
Oh, okay.
So she was in Long Beach, left Long Beach, went to LA. So she went live in Long Beach, drove to LA, then went live again.
Oh, okay.
That's the capabilities. Cool. So to do a news show, she did an interview show in Long Beach a couple weeks ago. She was down in Long Beach and did that, and then she left and went somewhere else and did another show. So our software gives them the flexibility to be able to go, not just having, because sometimes you just want to go live because you're an impromptu, you ran into somebody, let's do this now, versus just recording it. You get the spontaneity of going live, right. And then at the same time it records as you go back and edit it down later on to put it in a playlist for forevermore.
Right. I know I was out at a restaurant and I was like, wow, it'll be good to go live right here, right now. Right. With the owners,
Right. And so what you probably could do, and we'll talk about that as well, because that's part of what you do anyway, is getting you either using a smartphone to record it or go ahead and record it, and then we edit it down and then we put it live as a featured part of your Glow show that you can say, by the way, we're over here, it's pre-recorded, but you're able to also introduce people to who you are as far as out and about as well as we open up.
Right. And I can't wait for that. We've been stuck so long, but it was just enough time for everybody to focus in.
Yes.
and make changes and
Yes.
spend time at home and focus on your health. Because I don't know anybody who checks their health more than somebody who think they might have the coronavirus. Like,
Right. Right.
like you try to stay healthy, you've been trying to eat good and do all that kind of stuff. And so to all my Glow people, I hope everybody's doing good, everybody's healthy, and nobody's under the weather. Hope everybody's family's doing well. So I'm so glad that we got to do this today. You got to tell all about you got to tell us all about the BAC network, because people are always like, well, what are you doing? Like, who's it on? Like, what you got going on? And I'm like, well, there's a person behind it. He has a chat network. So if somebody wants to get on your network, like, what do they do? They
Yes.
contact you?
They contact me. Let me give you my telephone number. That you can reach out and touch. Here's, as a matter of fact, if you want to check out the network, that's where the network is for you to check out.
Okay.
It's running 24/7. Just go to BAC TV.
Check it
Um,
out.
and as a matter of fact, all the shows that the Glow has been doing and done are all archived on BACTV.net. So if you missed any shows, you're welcome to go there and check those out, as well as all the other shows that we have programmed that you can take advantage of and go for it. But if you want your own show, you can call me. That's my cell number. Instead of going to business, instead of going to my business line, because my business line right now goes to my cell phone anyway, so I can save a couple of dollars by you just going direct to myself.
Direct. Just get them directly.
Yes, ma'am. So yeah, but with you two, same thing. So the last couple of questions I want to hit you up.
Okay.
So your future with your spices to go global.
Mm-hmm.
Are you and you just talked to the guy today, is part of your DNA of your company is to also work with other lines to incorporate them into what you're doing, or are you going to specifically do that? Or are you going to branch off into for being a purveyor of some certain type of foods or vegetables?
You know what? I was thinking about that because when he actually offered me to sell his stuff wholesale.
Right.
He sent me a text message just a few minutes ago, and he was like, "Oh, would you like to sell wholesale?" So it is of interest to me because I plan on possibly having maybe a spice shop or something like that you can actually come get the spices from. So that would be good to have a lot of different kinds of spices along with mine to be offered there. But as far as my spices alone, I'm actually going to be I do also do infused oils, like infused oils, and I do a lot of
Is
cream,
that the oils? Is that the oils you mean as in olive oil?
olive oil, and different things like that are infused with chili and garlic, and so I also make those as well. So that's
Awesome.
something I'm going to build on the brand very slowly because I really want to keep it super duper simple. Because right now you can get 3 spices for $20. They're packaged up beautifully. They look like a gift. And then once I get my logo on there, it'll look really, really good. I just haven't did it yet. I'm really enjoying the small process of it right now because I feel like it's going to be so big that one day I won't be the one actually blending it up. I'll have some other people doing it, but I'm really enjoying it.
A co-packer?
Yeah. I'm really enjoying doing it myself right now. I've been doing a lot of orders and I just like have my hands on all the flavors and stuff. So until I get it perfectly perfected, then I'll go ahead and let somebody else do it.
Amen. Especially when you get, because you especially have to get down, the ingredients, so that way you trademark it toward for you, and so that way when you do take it to a co-packer, then they're able to duplicate and replicate your recipe. Because you would hate to. I remember working with someone and trying to help them to do it, and they didn't have a recipe, and so they still and it took them the batches that they put out weren't right, and they were so far into the process that they couldn't afford to just batch, to throw out that batch. They had to go ahead and sell that batch, which hurt them in the long run. But that's why it's important for you, like you're saying, take your time and doing it right, so that way you're able to make sure you make less mistakes and lose less money.
Right, because it's a really good money-making business. The profit margins are really good for spices, seasonings, including the jars, the mailing, and everything. So I just want to make sure that I'm providing the best flavors. Like my main thing is like the flavor. Like it has to be like the best flavors. It has to be able to be combined. It doesn't have a lot of salt. So, just doing the best. The best. I want it to be a good quality. And then when I turn it over to another person, because I've written out the recipes when I turn it over, I just want to make sure that the quality is maintained because it will have my name on it, Vonshai,
There
Delicious.
you go. There you go. And let's put up your website again, so that way people can go order theirs. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, hey, question: Why? This is off the cusp, and maybe you can answer the question. Why is it that lemon pepper is the most expensive spice in the spice rack?
Well, you know what? It is one of the most expensive ones because a lot of people are properly using it. I have a version of it that's a lot better than the one that you get from the store. Because the one you get at
I
the
want
store,
it. I need it.
the one that you get from the store is not even like if you make it, if you were to do it like the wings that you get, it's not that same flavor. So it's a few other ingredients that they use for to make it like it is at the restaurant than it is at the store. So I have another seasoning by request. Someone said, "Can you make a lemon pepper?" I was like, "All right."
That's cool. I
Yeah,
want
I'll
some
do it.
when it's done. I want some because the stuff that's in the store, I'm not really happy with,
Yeah, it's either too lemony, too salty, too peppery. And see, that's
right.
another reason why.
Usually too salty. Usually it's too
Right.
salty.
That's another reason that made me really do the spices is because a lot of things, like if you use seasoning salt, garlic salt, Cajun salt, everything has salt in it. So usually you just end up with something too salty
Right.
that doesn't taste good. So mine has a very low salt content,
Good. Good.
just
I
a
need
little
that.
bit. That way you can mix them together and it's not too
Right.
much salt, So it
Right.
works out better. It works out better that way because it
Yeah.
has
So
more flavor than salt.
when it's done, let a brother know. I want to be on auto ship so I can
Auto
get
ship.
mine.
Right. Shake, shake, shake.
There you go. There you
Keep
go.
shaking it. Yes. Well, we are on the Glow on Wednesday with a producer of the BAC network, Brian Cochran. He is the man behind the scenes who does all the cool graphics and pops my stuff up there. People say, "How do you do it?" I'm like, "I don't do that." Like, how'd you do this? I'm like, "I don't know." He does all that good stuff for me. I just say, "I want yellow, I want pink, I want whatever," and he just hooks it up. So thank you so much for doing that
Amen.
behind the scenes.
Well,
Oh,
thank you for having me.
I got to ask you a question for my book.
Oh,
You got a
okay.
few minutes, so you got to give me a number.
Okay, we're at 57 minutes, so we can make it quick. I'll
Okay.
make it quick.
Okay.
I'll make it quick. Actually, my
Okay.
answer.
All right. So pick
number 3 for the Trinity.
number 3 for the Trinity. All right. This is perfect for a DJ. What's your favorite 90s jam?
Oh, 90s. I wasn't born yet. I'm kidding. 90s.
What's
Oh
your
my
favorite
God.
party jam? Like you want everybody to get up dancing. Like what is the song you are popping on?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It would be Cameo. Yeah, that's my favorite group.
Yeah.
And so either them or Gap Band, one of those two.
Okay.
Thank you for laughing, Carnitas, at me. I love you too. I tell you how good of a DJ I am.
You're like, oh, what song? Like you have so many in your mind, probably. You're like,
It all jumped up in one because I'm playing more of the 70s stuff anyway because of the music past the 90s. Or it was kind of I don't
it gets
that's the
kind
old
of
that's the old guy in me.
We stop at the 90s when it's really jamming,
Well, there's no more. Well, the biggest thing is there's no more imagination. They just put it out there. Where back in the back from the 50s forward up to the 90s, you still had imagination. So Boys and Men, it still left you that you could imagine,
Right.
about that. So yeah. Anyway.
Well, all right. Well, we are winding it down to our last few seconds of the Glow. I just want to thank everybody for watching today on this Wednesday at 4:00. We have our special guest today, special edition for October is Brian Cochran of the BAC TV network. Reach out to him, say hi to him, give him a call. You might get a show. It's a great way to advertise. Thank you again for watching the Glow. See you next time.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Oh. Here we go.